Silent behaviors that make toxic people fear you. Have you ever felt completely drained by someone? You tried to explain your pain, you argued until your voice went hoarse, and you cried, hoping they would finally understand. But they didn't. Instead, they twisted your words, played the victim, and fed on your emotional chaos. We live in a world where we are taught to speak up, to fight back, and to demand explanations. But in the realm of psychology and Stoicism, there is a terrifying truth that toxic people don't want you to know. Your loudest weapon is not your voice. It is your absolute, unwavering silence. When you learn to weaponize your quietness, the power dynamic shifts completely. The hunter suddenly becomes the hunted. Here are the psychological silent behaviors that don't just confuse toxic people, they make them genuinely fear you. 1. The unemotional stare. The void of reaction. Toxic people are emotional vampires. They thrive on drama. When they insult you, manipulate you, or try to push your buttons, they are waiting for a reaction. Anger, tears, or defensiveness. That reaction is their validation. But imagine this, they launch an attack and you do nothing. You don't yell, you don't look hurt, you simply look at them, a calm, blank, uninterrupted stare. Psychologically, this is terrifying to a manipulator. By refusing to offer an emotional reaction, you hold up a mirror to their madness. In that silence, they realize they have zero control over your mind. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, any person capable of angering you becomes your master. When you show no anger, you remain the master of the room. 2. The unexplained no. A toxic person believes they have a right to your time, your energy, and your boundaries. When you finally tell them no, their immediate response is to ask why. They want a reason so they can dismantle it, argue with it, and make you feel guilty. The behavior that strikes fear into them is when you say no and offer absolutely no explanation. You don't apologize, you don't make excuses, you just state your boundary and let the silence hang heavily in the air. This completely paralyzes their ability to manipulate you. It signals that you don't owe them anything, not even a single sentence of justification. Your boundaries are a brick wall, and they have no tools to climb it. Before we move to the most powerful behavior of all, take a brief moment. If you have ever felt trapped by a toxic person and are ready to reclaim your peace, hit the like button and subscribe. Let's prove to the algorithm that psychological peace matters. 3. Complete selective ignorance. There is a massive difference between being weak and choosing not to engage. Toxic people often use passive-aggressive remarks or subtle disrespect to test your boundaries. They expect you to text back immediately, to defend your honor, or to beg for their approval. The ultimate psychological shift happens when you practice selective ignorance. They send a toxic, loaded text message, you leave it on read, for days, not out of anger, but out of absolute indifference. They walk into a room trying to command attention, you look right past them as if they are made of glass. To a narcissist or a toxic individual, being hated is acceptable because it still means they are important. But being completely ignored, that is psychological death. It tells them that they are completely irrelevant to your existence. 4. Thriving in absolute secrecy. Toxic people want to keep tabs on you. They want to know your struggles so they can celebrate, and they want to know their successes so they can minimize them. The most terrifying thing you can do is become a ghost to them while silently building an incredible life. You stop posting your feelings on social media. You stop talking about your plans. You work in the dark, you heal in the dark, and you grow in the dark. Suddenly, they look at you from afar and see a version of you they no longer recognize, someone who is happier, healthier, and completely out of their reach. Your silent success is the ultimate proof that their presence in your life was never required for your greatness. The power is already yours. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." You do not need to scream to be strong. You do not need to win an argument to prove your point. Toxic people fear your silence because within that silence lies your absolute self-control. They can manipulate words, but they can never manipulate a soul that refuses to engage. From this moment on, stop giving away your priceless energy for free. Protect your peace. Let your silence do the talking.